This is video for 3.3 practice worksheet, and the goal of this worksheet is to help you get ready for your standard for this course. So we're given the following pattern, and we have to draw figures 0 and 4. We also need to just describe the 50th figure, and as you'll see on the next slide, we also have to be able to make a table, graph, and rule for this figure. So it starts with drawing figures 0 and 4. It's really important that you figure out what's going on with the pattern. So some ideas that you've learned in class lately have been to shade in the tiles that have been being added. So when we shade in the tiles that are being added, we look from figure 1 to 2 and we see that they added this figure here, this tile, and this tile. And then we notice again for the next one, the new tiles being added are, again, the bottom and the right. So that tells me how to work forwards. I need to add similar tiles. So when I draw the next figure, I'm going to draw a figure 4. It's also going to have this similar shape with one little tile on top, but this long one is going to get a little bit longer. And it's actually going to be 4 from the end. And then the other length down here is also going to get longer. So here it was, from here to here it was 4, so it's going to get 1 longer, it's going to be 5. Okay, so there is your start. We figure out what's usually building up is easier than decreasing. But with decreasing, we're simply going to cross off the tiles that get taken off. So using the pattern, we would see that these two tiles would be the ones we remove, and then we see our figure 0 emerging. So figure 0 would simply be 3 tiles stacked on top of each other. So it has a very different look than the other ones, but I'm sticking with the pattern of what tiles to add or remove, and that's why that works. Now, describing the 50th figure in words that anyone could build it. Usually this is really important when you're thinking about we don't want just numbers, we don't want to draw a picture. Let's see if we can describe what this would look like with words only. So take a look at what's important here is thinking about how long each of the sides are. So I look at this side and it's 4 long, and this one is only 1. But then for figure 2 it's 5 long, and then this side is 2. And I keep doing this because it's important to help figure out how long each side is. This one is 6, and this one is 3. Now why this is important is because I want to describe what's happening and how long the 50th figure will be. So I'm trying to relate the 50th figure to the size of the tiles. So let's start with looking at the second figure. The second figure here, this side, notice, is the same length as the figure number. Let's check if that works for all 3 of them. So yes, it does work. This one is also 3. Both of these are 3. And then again here with the 1 it works. And with the 0, remember there is nothing here? So it works for all of the pictures that I've drawn here. So I've got a description. I've got a description that the length going across will be the same as the figure number. But then what about the vertical length, the length going up? So now we're looking at the length going up here, and it looks like it is 6 for the third figure, 5. So I see that it's growing by 1, but I do not want to have to draw 50 figures. So again, we're looking at how to relate. How can I relate the first figure, the figure number, to the number of tiles in that stack? And I notice that they're always 3 more than. 6 plus 3. So that's 6 plus 3 is given by adding 3 plus 3. Or the 5 is given by adding 2 plus 3. So the rule for the length going up is always the figure number x plus 3. That's how tall it will always be. And then the little side arm is always going to be x long. So this is how I'm going to describe my figure. Because it's the 50th, that means that the stack to the right is going to be 50 long. And then the stack on the side is going to be 53 long. So to describe it in words, I'd say stack I'd say stack 53 vertically, or we could say up and down. Then 50 tiles to the right, I want to describe where they are, of the second tile from the top. Okay, so that's what I'm going to describe, and that's what I would say, and hopefully that helps people. So they'd stack 53 vertically up and down, and then they'd have 50 tiles to the right of the second tile from the top. So that's the 50 tiles here, looking up at figure 4, would be 50 tiles here, and then this stack would be 53. So do your best with those descriptions, and make sure that you ask lots of questions if you're not sure if your description's good enough. That will be on your grad standard. So now that we've answered the first two parts, now we're asked to make a table, graph, and rule. So a couple of reminders, the table is always going to be the figure number and the number of tiles. So X is the figure, and Y is the tiles. Okay? So I have figures 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so now I count up the number of tiles. Figure 0 has 3 tiles. Figure 1 has 5. Figure 2 has 7. I'm starting to see a pattern, and I should see some sort of a pattern. So there's my table. Your graph, scale it how you want to make it fit, but figure number, of course, is X, because we already talked about that in the table. I'm going to go every other line to get my 5 figures. And then vertically, I'm going to go, let's say I have to get up to 11, so I guess I have to go by 1. So each line is 1, so I'm going to mark every other. This is 4, this is 6, 8, 10. And then I'll graph my points. Figure 1 had 5, figure 0 had 3, 7, 9, and 11. And I'm done. Last but not least, my rule. Y equals, we should know that it's plus 3 because figure 0 has plus 3. And then we guess and check. Hopefully you're slowly finding faster ways to write the rule. The rule for this one is 2x plus 3. The reason I know that works is if for figure 1, if I do 2 times 1 plus 3, I get 5. And that's what I should get according to figure 1 up here. I should have gotten 5. So remember, we're trying to find a rule so that when I plug in the figure number, I get the right number of tiles. So there is your rule and your information for number 1. Your job is to continue on and continue looking at the next patterns and describing what's going on and using the clues to figure out what the information is. So it gets a little bit harder, but try to fill things in the table first if you want to. You can do things out of order if it's easier for you. But be sure to ask your teacher lots of questions if you're concerned or don't understand how to do something. Good luck and keep asking questions.